This is Eric Wayne with United Realty Group. We are business brokers, and I'm a top agent in my office. We have about 4,000 agents in United Realty Group, almost 20 offices. I've been selling since '89, and I have a nice team that specializes in air conditioning and roofing and some of the commercial construction type of fields. So we have some buyers from previous sales. I just wanted to introduce myself, show you a little bit about how businesses are valued, show you some successes and what's going on in the industry. I want to show you, if I could, a couple of things, a little bit of success that we've had. Again, here is United Realty Group, Business Brokers of Florida. That's an association that's 20 years old, about 1,100 specialty small business brokers like myself, helping small business owners retire, move on, exit, cash out, flip, whatever they need to do. But this was a HVAC business we just recently sold for $400,000. So I still have buyers that are asking for other inventory in different parts of the state of Florida, different price points, different sizes, and so forth. Hoping if you're interested in selling, you select us and we can put something together. This was a $400,000 deal. We had $20,000 in earnest deposits, $380 at closing, $400 you can see when it was signed. It was in April, initialed by both sides. There's a 17-page document here. This is the sales contract. It's an association contract, so you don't have to pay $350 an hour for an attorney to draft anything. This is all included in our commissions. When you use a professional, the forms, the documents, all included. Everything except the transaction attorney, which generally the buyer and the seller agree to split 50-50. Generally, that's about $1,250 per side. It's about 20 hours of an attorney's time to do all the paperwork and the transaction and be available for both the buyer and the seller. I had the listing on this, and I also was able to bring the buyer, again, from the database, which was really cool. And we co-broke when necessary with other agents. That's why a healthy commission is important, especially in today's economy, because the buyer's agents are looking at commissions. Who should I bring my buyer to? And we want to make sure we're competitive, and we offer 50% of what the commission is. So that's how that works. Again, this is United Realty, Business Brokers of Florida. This was a roofing company, $500,000. As you can see, all the terms and so forth. The association, again, I do a little research. I like to look at the 19 versus the 20, the solds. Broward County, I live in Broward. So I look at Broward, I do a lot of business here, but also do on the West Coast, of course, licensed for the entire state. Last year in January, we did 108 transactions. This year we did 86. When I say we, I mean the association. 83 versus 70, 109 versus 71. You can see how things are different. I did an analysis of 7 months. Last year, the association agents and members had success with 745 of them, with an average of 274 days on the market, 86% down payment. This same period of time, 7 months, you can see, the ratios here, wow, 28% of what last year was. That was when the coronavirus really hit. But we only did 449 in the 7 months. January and February were not really the coronavirus month. It just happened to be a down month. The news wasn't even out until March, really. So that is 60% of the sold volume of what the same association selling the same thing did just a year before. Kind of scary. Also, the days on market increased by almost 10%. The average now is about 300 days on the market. The reason that that's so high is generally owners want to, start high and then come down, and that's not a technique that works, especially with all the data that buyers have access to. They're not going to overpay. If you want to get out quicker, we do what the average is and it gets you out faster, instead of starting, some crazy high number that the accountant and lawyer tell you can get, but the buyers don't agree to. So here's 20 versus 19. 20 was the 449, like I mentioned, and 745. It's taking 10% longer. That's the amount of days on market. 385 cents on a dollar is a down payment. Generally 15% seller financed. We have a good track record of getting cash buyers, so you don't have to deal with the finance part, although it may be necessary in certain industries, depending on what the economy is doing. Let me go to the association. As I mentioned, this is a 20-year association of business brokers. These are guys that do not do residential. They may, but the association is known for small businesses. We have about 22,000 businesses that are in here that we've sold as a unit. I can pull from any one of the 67 counties if we want to be county specific. I can pull from any one of the different industries. I happen to pull construction because that's all that's relevant. Heating and air conditioning, I submit that selection. I could do a search just with those two criteria if I don't put financials in. However, we're going to have too many of them. I did maximum sales of 1.4, minimum I didn't want to compare you to businesses that are much smaller or much bigger. So I just wanted to get a group. This can't be exact until I have actual information, because the subcategories matters if it's commercial, residential, sales, installation, all that stuff factors into it. I'll be more specific when I know more about the business. The ratio of your sales, of that 1.4 million, what is the largest percentage of your sales? And then I'll hone in on that. I took a number of 250. I could go higher, but I'm not sure really where you are on the profit scale. Also, I'm not sure if you are profitable on your tax return, if it's under the mattress, if it's in a cookie jar. I'm not sure where the money we're going to prove is, or what kind of documentation we're going to offer the buyers. Will you have the contracts? Will it be on the tax return, the P&L? How are we going to document it? So there's all different ways. If I click on one of these, we're going to get a different search result. So I'd rather leave it as a group of all of them. And then once I know what your particular business situation, as far as the source of proving the financial data will be, then I'll know which one to narrow it in on. Just like I'll know the subcategory of air conditioning, more specifically what what your niche is, or what your majority of business or minority of business is. So this is what I came back with. These are showing solds, and you can read just a little bit here. If there's real estate in here, I need to remove it because that'll throw out your numbers significantly. But you can see these businesses and their sales volume. A lot of them have been in business, 35 years. These are very reputable 12-year businesses, significant guys, cashing out, selling, retiring. So we have up to 1.35. There were 12 results. Again, this is not going to be a perfect scenario. The quantity and dollar amount of the assets. This guy had 0 included, and this guy had $411,000 worth of assets. So I want to find out what assets between your furniture, fixtures, equipment, and inventory, although that's not really an asset. What are we actually including in the transaction? Because if you're including nothing in the way of trucks or equipment, then we want to exclude these guys that were, because again, that's going to throw off the numbers. Let me do just a quick calculation of the class over here. I could do any search you want. We could list it for anything you want. We can always try for a high dollar amount. If you're not in a rush, we can test the market. I will ask for a longer listing period to protect my investment. But this was 1.48 sold price on average of the group by the adjusted net. So the average adjusted net in this group was 308. That might be low or high for what you're doing. I don't know because I don't have all the data. The average sold price for this net was here. The ratio of the adjusted net to get that sold price was 1.48. Rent was an average of 1.5% of the group. So you'll know if you're high or low of that group. And the sold down payment is 74 cents on a dollar. And the average days on market was 287. Now, we need to look at these dates and see if any of these were 2020 or if they were only all before, because the days on market has increased. Also, I don't think that this is accurate for today's marketplace. So we could take a harder look at it once I have some more information. The main thing is I wanted to introduce ourselves, let you know that we know what we're doing and we're out here, we have buyers, we're competent and able. If you're interested in talking to us further, there's no obligation to have us market the business. If we sell it, there's a commission. We can talk about what that is, why it's important to have a good commission, a competitive commission, so we can have the budget and motivate the buyer's agents to cooperate with us, especially in this kind of an economy. Eric Wayne, 954-562-2019, United Realty, your favorite business broker. We'll talk to you soon. Any questions, let us know. Thank you.